Hello everybody, this is Dee over at Aloha Astro, and today we are looking at the date of April the 15th, 2018. The planet Mercury has gone direct, and we are looking at a new moon this evening in the sign of Aries, the cardinal fire sign of Aries. It will be occurring at 9:57 Eastern Time, and every day I've been posting a daily horoscope. This is the brief horoscope for today of the planetary energy as it affects everyone as a whole. I do not write personal daily horoscopes for each sun sign because everybody is so much more than their sun sign. And to actually have an accurate horoscope without knowing somebody's time of birth, location of birth, and looking at their natal chart is kind of just taking a shot in the dark. I'm looking more at the consciousness and energy that is with us based on transits of the moon and the aspects that the moon is making and other planetary aspects. And as you can see by the picture here, I try to find pictures every day that capture the energy as I feel it when I look at the chart for the day. And today I definitely feel the fire of moon in Aries, and I feel the electrical Aquarian Uranian energy, since we will have the planet Uranus in conjunction with the moon and the sun at this new moon. And I feel that Earth is there to ground us. We have some favorable Earth aspects involving Venus in Taurus. Let's pull up the planet watcher chart. Even though we have some conflict going on between these three intense planets, revelations, I believe, will be coming forward with this new moon, or something that might hit us out of the blue, something that's shocking, something that might be life-changing. Maybe things that we've repressed or denied or not acknowledged will now come up as Mercury has gone direct, and it may be that it is time for that to come out and be healed or be worked at and processed. And the square that these three planets are making to the strong Capricorn energy, where we have three kind of fear-based planets. These are tough ones. Saturn is a tough planet. Mars is a tough planet, and Pluto is a relatively tough planet. These are planets that have a lot to do with our physicality, mortality, power, control, strength, and being able to stay here in our body. Saturn can represent authority figures. It's where we take life seriously, where we should on ourselves. And we've got Capricorn energy going on with these three planets. So this makes it even more of an imperative that whatever we have to do to defend or protect ourselves or stay here in body or exert our power over anybody who seems to threaten us, even if we don't really have full information, as we might not have during Mercury retrograde. I think that if we act out of fear and we exert too much power where it's not warranted, where we shouldn't be, I have the feeling that it's detrimental in some way on a personal level or a global level. But there are some things that can help with the situation, even if we react and respond to things out of really truly a deep mortal fear of danger or threat or physical harm. We do have a trine that goes on between Venus and Taurus, and it does make it a lovely trine to these very mortal planets here. And then we have a sextile to Jupiter in Scorpio. I say that the truth will out, whatever it is. And if damage is done that needs to be corrected, or if mistakes are made and something was done for the wrong reasons, or something destructive is done and it shouldn't have happened, then we have energy for being able to perceive the truth of things and to maybe rework a situation, to build with new foundations, to improve. This calls out for truth, and it calls out for improvement, calls out for growth. And we can't prevent all acts of negativity or violence, and we can't do away with fear. This is something that human beings live with. What we can do is perhaps take some time at the new moon to watch and observe and consider the other person. Within the energy of Aries, we always have the opposing energy of Libra. So here we're very selfish. We're concerned with self when we're looking at Aries. And this is all first house energy, me, mine. And when we look at Libra, opposite, it's we. It's where we compromise and find balance with other people. So the shadow here to look at is realize that everybody wants to have enough. This trine here is about having enough, and there is plenty. To cooperate and work well with others, and to see that other people are safe and fed and protected, and that we all are deserving. This here to me is an aspect of deserving. Everybody deserves. What can happen is if there's fear of lack, of not having enough, or if greed steps in and powers step in and want to take away out of greed and not thinking of people, then really it's up to people to do something about setting that straight and to resist and push against any hierarchy that is seeking to do things that are against nature or harmful to others, or jeopardizing people's safety or putting them in vulnerable positions, and denying them the things that all human beings need. So I feel like what's going on globally, we're really seeing a lot of, fascism, dictatorship, war is being brought forward. But there are things here going on that show that the communal energy of Leo, the bravery, the courage, the creativity, thinking of the common man, we have a yod here with the constructive energy of Capricorn. And the yod also involves the inspiring and healing energy of Neptune in Pisces. Sometimes things have to get really, really bad before they get better. Sometimes things have to be totally destroyed before something new can be built. And the emergent energy that's going on right now, both on a personal level and a global level, is to become really clear at maybe where have you been holding yourself back out of fear, or where have you been allowing and permitting other people to have control over you and tell you what to do that is detrimental to you. Now, what can you do to change things, but without harming another person? Are there ways to find compromise? Can you turn people toward what you want to do if it is good for others, if it is for the common good? Can you demonstrate and prove that something that you would like or want is not based on greed and fear and lack, but on a mutual cooperation and establishing something foundational that's going to be good for the whole? Venus in Taurus, it cares about everybody else's pleasure, comfort, security, safety. This is something that Venus in Taurus wants to have, is everybody to be able to have that. And then when we look governmentally or at the power that sits above us, the power should be answering to the people, and the people should be putting their representatives in a position of responsibility to the people. And if that's no longer the case, then something has to change. And there has to be a unification and a change to be able to give the power back to the people, or to make the people who are responsible or in power answer to the people and do what is best for the people. And I do believe that healing and growth and peace are all possible within this chart. However, growth and change, it doesn't always come easily. And that's one thing I mentioned in the very quick write-up I did, that there are no guarantees in that the truth may come out right now, and the truth can make us free, but freedom often follows some loss or release. And the new moon does not promise that transitions will be easy. So don't expect things to just happen. There's a little bit of sweat involved with Venus in Taurus and Mars in Capricorn. Roll up your sleeves and get to work on something that you are passionate about. The change and the growth isn't just going to come and happen to you. Maybe, yes, some things change in life you have no control over, but there are still a lot of things you do have control over, and make use of them. Don't turn a blind eye, and don't keep quiet, or don't make yourself small, or don't think that you are entirely alone. There are people who would perhaps want to join in on whatever your vision or project is, if it's for a good cause or a good reason, a good purpose. Now, the Sabian symbol for today, we round up from 26 degrees 2 minutes to 27 degrees of Aries. Through imagination, a lost opportunity is regained. We've just come out of a retrograde period where we can go back over things, revision of attitude, and inner revaluation. And attitude adjustment is certainly something that a new moon can bring, and with a planet of change joining in, there may be some really abrupt wake-ups for people. Like, aha, maybe good epiphanies, but also there can be some rather, unsettling or shocking wake-ups and revelations that would show you where your negativity is, or where your wrong thinking has been, or where you've been not doing what you're supposed to be doing, or stepping up to your own personal power and your ability to make things happen in your life. So the rest of this is rather interesting. The second stage of a fivefold sequence of phases always reveals a contrast to the first, but not necessarily an opposition. This symbol makes it clear that the mind that has become overstimulated and obsessed by all it appears to be able to accomplish in some new realm of experience may easily fail. The disciple fails in his test, or at least it seems to him that he has failed. Actually, the failure may have been meant by his guru to be a challenge to the emergence of a new capacity. Generally speaking, this capacity is what one calls creative imagination. The mind must first imagine that which he will then be able sooner or later to actually experience. At this stage, it may be difficult to distinguish success from failure. And nothing may fail like success, people say. What counts is the development of undaunted faith in the pursuit of one's ideals. And if we take a look at what we have going on with Mercury conjunct Venus here, conjunct Chiron in Pisces, we have the idealism of Pisces energy. Chiron at the 29th degree can bring the energy of last chance, or that it has to be done, or it has to be done correctly now, that there may not be other opportunities. There's an urgency involved there. And of course, Aries always wants to get there faster, ahead of everybody else, wants to be right or to lead, and doesn't really want to consider the idea of failure. However, with this square to Saturn, it's not going to be easy. And there may be some backsliding, or there may be some challenge from people who say, no, that can't happen, or no, you can't do that. And within the Aries mindset, all right, I'll show you, And I do believe it's true that frequently we have to fail several times before we find out what our mistakes are and how we can correct them, and then refine until we come to a point that we know, as we move ahead, that we've worked out all the problems. We have dealt with all the things that might arise and stand in our way, and now we know that something is going to work. So don't be afraid to move forward. You might not be perfect at the first stab that you take at something. You might run into opposition, or it might just fail, appearing to fail miserably, where you expect something with very high expectations and then it doesn't happen. Particularly with the urgency here to make something happen very quickly. If you do get any genius ideas, the quincunx here to Jupiter wants to have that growth, might be inspired through intuition or a perception of some kind in which direction to head. And I think that there may be some stumbling blocks in the way. First of all, to see how badly you truly want it, and to get the rocks out of the path, to make it work properly, rather than do something really, what is the expression, slipshod, so that you run into problems later on if you have not worked out your issues at the beginning. So there may be some backsliding, and there may be a feeling of, why can't I get this right? Or why can't I just have what I want now? And it's not meant to happen fast. It's meant to be a building process, a layering process, a creative process that is an organic growth. This is an initiating phase, and then we move more steadily into the organic growth, especially as we move along through the season, the Taurus season, and we come out of Aries. So things have to have a firm foundation before they can be built up. And patience, patience, grasshopper, is what this new moon is saying. But also, if it's time to exert some push or some warrior-like energy, or to stand your ground, or to overcome fears and stand up to bullies, or whatever it is that you need to do, go ahead and do it. Just be prepared for things maybe not to fall exactly as you thought they would. That is something that the planet Uranus may be bringing along with all this initiation and the willingness to move forward, that it might not come about just as you imagine. So you may perceive of it as a failure, when indeed it's just part of a longer process. So I think that's it. And everybody be safe, and especially when you're on the road traveling, because this can be an impatient energy. And these are some very physical planets. If your mind is getting too quick and ahead of yourself, you can have bumps and bruises and tripping over feet and dropping things and stuff like that. So take time to slow down a little bit today and breathe, and get out in nature if you can for some grounding. And I will catch up with you on a video next time as we approach the full moon. So take care, and happy new moon in Aries.